everyone, my name is Cassandra and we're discussing the evolutionary factors of the internet, how to behave, how to perform, how to do all of your good stuff. So first I'm going to pull a Letterman card. I have 2 decks of Letterman cards. So if those of you who don't know who I am, I'm a psychic, medium, telepathic, and I go in and out of the states of levels of abilities to read. So I'm kind of on business mode, but always the foundation is spirituality. So the first card I pulled is this card. Now I read it as, I just basically look at it and read the energy. These 2 pillars on the bottom, there's 4, represent social media with the flower in the center. So that's a good sign. And then see how everyone's kind of surrounding the table, right? We got the warriors and the battlers, the protectors, the leadership team, all together. Reports, 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 reports. I'm like looking and I feel like these are bad. These are bad. But sometimes if I look at these, they'll be good. So it'll depend on the way that the energy is speaking to me. So do you see how that works? You can take a look in my, this is my left. Do you see that? That's a wing. And I move over here and you see the other wing. That's how I read a card. I can read the space. And then there's a king, and that's Gary. And 2 paths become 1. We're meeting at some point. That's what that means. And then they're basically going to have the rug pulled out from under them. When a card, for me, sometimes, not always, turns upside down, it means it's coming to you. However, it's a little bit of both. This guy. Gossipers. They think they're the queens and kings of the internet kind of thing. That one, the mind manipulated, and take her out. You see that? Perspective shifts because then I see the flower. I become protected. Make sense? Joker. I see a joker and a diamond. So whatever they're planning and plotting is a bunch of dumb. It's so dumb, y'all. So whatever I teach you today, this is for the masses so you can all collectively create content calmly, freely, enjoyably, not so you don't have pain inside you when you post something. For fun. This is supposed to be fun. Whether it's for work or not, it's supposed to be fun. Okay, we're 4 minutes in. Let's get going here. So the first step, what you need to do when creating a video is, well, you first have to have a kind of an idea or a topic of what you want to talk about. Well, what's important to you as a person? If it's important to you, it's probably important to a group or community. If you're dealing with something over here, then likely somebody else is dealing with something over there. And then you create an existence of you're not alone. You get to be vulnerable. However, you're not expressing it completely in vulnerability. Depending on how vulnerable you get with stepping out into the front, if that makes any sense. You could literally spend the day taking objects, recording objects, and making cool visuals and then attach filters to the visuals. It's like so easy. I could spend 20 minutes going through a book that I just saw. It literally pops up like that for me. I got a book over here that I'm going to be working on later today now. I have topics that are important to me, whether it be the sacred contract cards or my essential oils or works of the 17 laws of success. And then I attach everything and commingle it into a creative zone to where it creates education for you. So it's an expansion of myself, but it's an educational experience for you. Noting that if I'm in the video in the beginning, I cared a little bit about what I looked like in the beginning. But then I wanted to set the tone for strategy. So I set a tone for strategy to let everybody know that you didn't have to spend 6 hours in the bathroom getting ready in the morning, nor did you have to look a certain way, nor did you have to have a certain financial background. You just had to be yourself. You just had to create the camera looking at you and start speaking or start recording. Because it was the barrier, the terror barrier that people need to break through, because the terror barrier that was created by these influencers is thick, it's toxic, and it's really bad. It's like all uncovered through the work that I've been producing too, by the way. Meaning, I'm wondering if they wonder and they can figure out how I'm able to do it. Because I can't figure out how I can work so quickly. I'm like fast. I can literally produce content like in 5 minutes. Boom, 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 all day. I actually went to VCon and they watched me all through VCon, and I was producing all day long to prove that I could do it, that I was going to do it. They were watching me. I was producing, I was tagging, I was typing, I was doing readings in some of the people's seminars. I was telepathically communicating as people were speaking at the front. I was like laser focused. Like I really knew that Gary was running around and stuff, but I did not care. I said, you need to stay focused on why you're here, your purpose. Because that's what people need to realize. I'm digressing. That's what people need to realize is when you have a definite purpose, that partner becomes the accent to the purpose. It's like Gary was there and I was excited to see him, but my purpose was to work. Which is why when I stood in line at the VCon line, I didn't say anything because I was waiting for him to say something. Otherwise, I was there to work. Always looking around for the next opportunity to make a video, not only to promote VCon, VFriends, my own self, promote the ability for you to share my work, create duets, tag me in it. So you see how the whole strategic organization of any place you go to, meaning if everybody would have shown up at VCon and made 88 videos, then the NFT VFriends would be worth more than what it is now. One person or two people wouldn't have been creating value around it, but the whole entire NFT community would have been creating value around it, which is part of the disconnect in your NFT discussions, is that you have to realize that you have to do work besides hold up your VFriend and say, I own a VFriend. Okay. What exactly do you do? Well, I'm a influencer. Well, you didn't influence me. And that becomes the game of the work. Meaning, I can tell you all this stuff all day long, but it all is concept to you until you come to the seminar. I'm going to tell you that right now. Time experience is what generates evolution, evolvement, and creativity. I started out filming over there. Then I got brave and started pointing over here. Then I started thinking about storyline. However, it was always storyline of sending an energetic message through the camera of me going on nature walks, because like I like that stuff, right? Like, so I like looking at nature, so I assumed other people liked looking at nature. Then I got like quiet because I could feel nasty energy or something. I got creative. This is like a long story. Let's see. Such a long story. I started with the TikTok videos, painfully posting, but not as painful as it is now for some of you. For me, it's no big deal, but for you, it's painful. Not utilizing filters. I still don't understand how nobody's utilizing the filters or the effects because they're afraid of what people think. It's really crazy. Okay, going back. Photographs were the first photographs I took. I took an iPhone workshop teaching you how to utilize your camera. Whoops. Uh-oh, blooper. Uh-oh, blooper. So I utilize the iPhone for all my pictures. Okay, so this is all affordably operated processes of building your honey empire. Let's see. So those are some of the first pictures I posted on my Instagram account. Then I went to Instastory most of the time because Instastory, I knew I could practice with an Instastory and only certain people would see it. And then it would delete in 24 hours. So it was a jumping point for me to hide behind a filter. As I got more courageous, I posted on TikTok and then started playing with the filters and the utilizations of the Instagram story, but that'll be another shorter version of this. Then I started producing on TikTok. Dancing was important and humor was important at the time, and you didn't really have to do much. But I added my voice into the mix of what was going on. We already had some of the slimiest people had already gone viral. However, nobody realized that they were quite as slimy as they are, because the more fans and followers you have, the worse version of a person you are unless you grew the account. Meaning there's a difference between Brad Lee, who's a grown adult who's built a business, than a little 17-year-old little brat who went viral overnight off of doing the whoa. I mean, that person has no earth, no foundation, nothing. It's interesting because Charli D'Amelio has the same exact birthday as I do. Not to mention we look alike. And we're both Italian. That being said, I made duets with individuals. It's how she went trend. It's actually how she went viral. So the real way that you go viral on TikTok is to make a duet. That's how it initially evolved, because Charli D'Amelio went viral off of a duet with a lady who taught easy dance routines. However, Charli ditched her after she got viral off of her. And then that lady went nuts, because it became a nuts place to operate on. Because then everybody started people pleasing, because if you didn't people please, the bots would come after you. The social media influencers, which are the bots, would come after you, and they would personally violate you based on your look, based on who you were, based on your dance moves. It's like toxic. So I was producing goofy videos. Like I would send messages, blatant messages to Gary. Like I did this call me maybe video with a banana. Call me maybe. And then I interviewed via TikTok. I made an interview video on what I would say if I was in an interview. And then I would, what else would I do? I would have authentic conversations of things that I've known from my yoga practice to my other studies that I've learned throughout my lifetime. I was temping in dental, so I was traveling to different offices, and I utilized pictures of cool dental stuff that I found. From signs on a door to little figurines to colors on the wall. So I looked at a lot of big pictures, focused in. I would spend my lunchtime by myself looking through TikToks or creating some of my own. And so the two videos that went viral for me, one was the tongue ring video. And the other video that went viral with, like, one was 1 million views and the other was 300,000 views, was the pacifier video. Because I got my ass reamed on the tongue ring video. However, I am a professional and I'm 100% sure that you better not be having no tongue ring. Not only is it disgusting, it's gross and it's disease. And you can never get that hole back. It's always broken. Especially if you do the tongue cut. It's disgusting. It's like your heart and your tongue are very similar muscles. Anyway, that's on you. Let's see. I made a video about happiness that was authentic and vulnerable. And I was like, we were going through COVID. Nobody's happy. This is all during COVID, by the way. Nobody's happy. And I only took 4 weeks off. Nobody's happy. Everybody's miserable. And I'm like, you have to choose happiness. So Gary saw that video. Although he must have seen some of my videos before. Because my first encounter with Gary Vaynerchuk was on the LinkedIn page, because the LinkedIn page is where I really dove into creating comments in his comment section, because I saw it within his organization that he needed a female counterpart. So I wrote ditto on a Facebook account because I agreed with what he said. And in the movie Ghost, ditto is what Patrick Swayze said to the other character in the movie Ghost. He would never say, I love you. He said ditto. And so I was like, well, that's kind of clever. And I'm like, well, maybe he knows what ditto means and he'll get a kick out of it. Because he was married at the time, or, in his dedicated phase. Because honestly, if I would have met him on the street and he was married to that woman, I would have hooked up with him anyway. You ain't happy? Come on over. That is your problem, not mine. I'm here to live a happy life. Anyway, we're not talking relationships, but Gary keeps popping in. Then I started posting in the LinkedIn account trying to support the women in the comment section. Meaning I could sense the men in the comment section were obtrusive, where they were like blocking the women out. Like not supporting them in conversation. Like, you dumbass, kind of like that. You don't belong here. And so I went through the comment section and I'd love all the females. Love. Great job. Great question. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Not to mention over on Twitter, I was doing a lot of adding Elon Musk, Donald Trump, Joe Rogan, and Gary Vaynerchuk. And then I met a couple creepy people to practice the creepy vibe, because I actually trained myself too to comment inappropriate, which y'all would think was inappropriate. Meaning one time I commented on this woman who was leaning in dryer who paid a dude to get caught touching her rear end because she's a Playboy model and she wanted her content to go viral again so she could be famous. I said, that's a lie. And then I got my butt hammered by females supporting it. Then I said something that was nothing derogatory. None of these comments were derogatory, but they were all opinion focused or whatever. And then this lady comes right back at me and says, snake oil salesman, in the most destructive way that she could have killed me. So both of those comments I do believe I deleted because I just did not want that energy on me. I also eventually deleted my tongue ring video and my pacifier video because I didn't want to be known as the tongue ring girl. And I was thinking to myself, well, if I could go viral over that, then I can definitely go viral again. And it was really weighing heavy on my spiritual self because at that point I hadn't become quite as psychic as I am now. Then a bunch of personal stuff happened. This is I guess I'm telling you my social media story. I was constantly posting on the Instagram story mostly. But then I got the balls every now and then to start up my TikTok page again. I would start up a page, I would create all this content, and then I would delete the account. And it was good content too. It's like really good stuff. So I did that like 3 or 4 times. I would create this whole long list of content. I'm talking thousands of videos. And then I would just delete it. I'd be like, screw this, I ain't doing this. And then I'd still be over at the YouTube page. Not YouTube page. I would be over at the, what do you call it? Instagram story. I would make duets with Gary Vaynerchuk. I would tag Gary Vaynerchuk. I would talk to Gary Vaynerchuk. And he once said to me, just have a conversation. Well, shit, maybe that shit does work. I'm just going to keep posting. Died and came back to life. All kinds of weird stuff happened. Physical abuse. Boundaries dropped. Weird energy in the space. Continued to post on Instagram story. Only like 5 people were watching. However, it really felt like 1 million were watching. Going over to TikTok, the evolution of the TikTok community went from dancing videos to social media models as the priority of people viewing and watching, and then mind guiding us based on the experience of the results of what happened with the toilet paper scandal. Meaning they all got together and said, what product are we going to try to see if we can get them to buy? All a Joe Dispenza research facility coordination with all of them. All of them. No, they didn't do a particular product, y'all. They did just a thing. So they sold us out on toilet paper to create mass fear, and they thought it was okay. You want to get that one. They don't care about you. They don't care about the educational systems. They only care about their money, pocketbooks, and how they look, which is where the internet has evolved into where it is today. However, that's not really what we're talking about. This is not what we're supposed to be talking about, but I'm actually digressing into an additional video based on the information that I'm creating at this time. So this is an organic experience of conversation. So I stopped for a while producing content on TikTok. I would create content. I showed you them violating me by stabbing me in the stomach. I said, make them stop. And I dropped to the floor and I screamed. Nobody came to my rescue. I like proved over and over again that I was being physically attacked by these fools. No one came to my rescue. I prayed every night, talked to God every night. I stayed up every night working on the Twitter account. Sometimes I did a lot of blast conversation. John Smith, Will Smith was up with me one night. John Mayer, Will Smith, it was like I couldn't even catch up with my own mind, which is what most people don't even realize. Like I was producing more content in here, in communication, attached to the TV, and pushed it out, like send, save, listening to music, messages. So I would get up at like 3 in the morning, or no, I would go to bed at like 5 in the morning, 3 in the morning, be up at 6 and start creating content again. And then I would produce content all day long, nonstop. So I would get money somehow. I would work. I would have a breakdown in the psychic, and then I would have to quit my job. I utilized the money that I made from the little bit of time that I worked. And then I would get up at 6 and produce content until 3 in the morning, or be working with energy to move energy until 3 in the morning, if not 4. Don't give me a 6. Give me a you did good. Let's change the perspective to I'm a badass. Not only was I flipping the President of the United States, Donald Trump, I was assisting mass catastrophes, global concerns, world problems. Meanwhile, I was being harassed and abused by celebrities and influencers. And I'm still producing content. That's how intense they've tried to take me out, to take you out. And I said, oh, hell no. You ain't gonna win, because these people deserve success. These people deserve for their voices to be heard. See, y'all want to suppress the voices that don't agree with you. I like hummus. Well, I don't like hummus. Well, good for you. And that's like a mild case that in real time, at this time, if I were to go up to somebody and say, I like hummus, and they were to say, I don't like hummus, that person would want to battle me to the death. That's what the social media influencer had created for us, and that's what I was battling. So then I was multitasking and multi-producing content. It all evolved from the beginning to Instagram stories of practicing. I was getting high quite a bit. Getting high connected me to God on a more connected level. And even now, if I get a little bit of high, the people physically come into the space. And at this time, it's very dangerous for me to be able to do that, because they use knives and swords like Monavan did to slice me open. And they think it's funny. And then they get embarrassed about it because they don't want you to know that they've done it, because there's no physical evidence. However, it's true. That's how Ray Liotta and some others' demise happened. However, I don't know, Ray Liotta might have been just killed. What else was I going to say about that? Okay, so then, evolution of this. Don't give me the hush. I'll say whatever the hell I want to say. This is my platform. This is my page. You want to get that as long as I'm not disrespecting you, meaning I'm not coming to your page, However, I did do that on purpose to see what y'all would do. Meaning I went to Coldplay's page, I went to Gary Vaynerchuk's page, I went to Justin Bieber's page, I went to Joe Rogan's page. And I purposely went through their comment section and told them what was happening. So everybody, millions of people could see. All a strategy too, by the way. All you had to do was say, hey, don't do that. Okay. I just at least wanted to get your attention. A new, what do you call it? It's going to be a new requirement where you can only post once a day on a person's platform. Or at least less than 10. I mean, because I did like 50. And it's also letting you know what didn't work for the platform. Because what if all of us went onto Joe Rogan's page and commented 50 different comments all over his content? Not only is that jarring to his spirit and his soul, but it's impossible to keep up with. It's a bunch of energy being blasted. It's a nightmare. So whatever I was doing on the internet was a lesson for each and every one of you, not only on the internet, but in your personal life too. Meaning I went over to Justin Bieber's page to tell him what a piece of crap his hoe wife is. Meaning if you watch Justin Bieber when he meets Hailey Bieber for the first time, when they're children, it's the most hysterical thing you'll ever see in your life because it's a direct reflection of what he's dealing with in his relationship with her. She's a psycho. She's a codependent psycho who has no intelligence in her body at all. Not to mention she's evil, she's abusive, she's sleeping around on him. She slept with the lead of that church that he belonged to, which is also a nightmare. And so I'm basically just telling facts. Not off the spirituality even. Off visualization of what I see. Meaning you cannot hide on the internet no more. I uncovered that for y'all. Meaning when my pages go openly viral on the media and stuff, it's going to be so obvious who you can't stand and who was abusing you from the beginning. It's already too late. I've made too much content for it to just sit in the vault. That's the funny part of what they don't realize is they are never preventative care. They are only post-incident. Talking to Selena Gomez, who is caught talking smack about an interviewer who's just telling her she didn't get the reaction she wanted when she said, well, what are you going to do when you get done with this music thing? And she says, well, I'm going to do philanthropy work. That's all she says. And then the interviewer says, oh, okay, sounds good. And then she gets up, she storms out of the interview, she goes behind the scenes, and then she bashes the interviewer and says, I'm so sick of this. Because she didn't get the, oh, you're so generous, you're so lovely, you're so amazing. However, that was a planted interview. Surprise. If you notice the voices that she portrays her voice now, it's like, what in the hell? Anyway, I didn't just go onto Adam Levine's page because I'm attracted to him. I did it because I love Adam Levine since I was 17 or however long it's been since Maroon 5 came out with their first CD. Meaning I didn't meet Adam Levine until later on into literally 3 years into this process. Because I could only assume that him and Psycho, his ex, were happily together. However, one day I was at my living room and I don't even think I was high that day. Maybe I was. Who knows? Who cares? And I said, oh, hey. And then I spent the whole day with him. But just him and me. And I was like, where have you been? Like, I thought you were happy. He's like, no, I'm not. I said, really? I was like, I'm really surprised. Are you sure? I said, are you sure? Because you sure do look like you are. He's like, no, I'm not. It's like, okay, well then I guess we're going to be together. I said, I'm loving that. That sounds good to me. So then we watched TV all day and then blah, 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 blah. And then eventually Gary Vaynerchuk came back into space, but that's another story. Producing content. They like to pull me out of the story. I was working the pages so differently, but all the same. I would post on Twitter, post a response to Twitter on Instagram, post a response to Instagram on TikTok. So those are my 3 platforms. And then at some point I was using LinkedIn, but I really didn't like LinkedIn very much. I didn't really get a lot out of LinkedIn when posting until I posted honest truths about the dental field, until they kicked me off. So that was a whole nother phase of content creation where I went in and I tagged the Wall Street Journal, the New York Times, and other platforms who were up to media to tell them what was going on with the government and dental. Meaning I was posting authentic sex trafficking information and other toxic information on a page where people could do something about it and nobody cared. They were welcoming the fact that the toxic workspace was being dominated by the corporate dentist who was literally murdering their dental hygienists and their dentists. They didn't care. But I posted it all over the page and then they kicked me off. Hashtag New York Times, at the Wall Street Journal. I'm a psychic, everything that I tell y'all. Nobody cared. Nobody even reached out to ask me any questions. Not one person. Hashtag Gary Vaynerchuk, posting pictures of myself, Nothing. Now I can't email people when I want to email them, which sucks. Because now I'm banned for life. So instead of giving me a warning, they banned me for life. Isn't that nice? Now my career's over. Because everyone goes to LinkedIn for jobs, they say. Same thing on Twitter. I have like 6 different Twitter accounts. Some I can't remember the passcode to. And some I don't remember the name I used. There's something about Twitter that I just get disconnected from. I can't remember. But I can't remember what I posted about on Twitter. It was something really dumb. Oh, I said the B word. I had no followers, y'all. No followers. And Twitter banned me because I used the B word. That was their excuse. They even had me go through a test to pass in Brilliance twice to see if Elon Musk was going to be able to purchase Twitter. I passed it with flying colors. I failed the first time. I had 3 shots. The second time I passed it. Always on Instagram story. Gary Vaynerchuk blocked me. I didn't care. I said, you asshole. He posts the same shit everywhere anyway. Because I wrote, I can't stand you. I can't stand you. I can't stand you over and over again. It may have been I can't stand you. But I can't remember. You are so annoying. No, it was I can't stand you. It was something over and over again to where Maha blocked me. His assistant. Because I would seductively write him seduction comments. So you don't know this is behind the scenes, but with Gary Vaynerchuk, I would be telepathically communicating with him. And then I would comment in the videos of his Instagram story seductive messages on purpose. Only after he made advances at me to let me know that he was single and that he wanted to be with me. So in the beginning, it wasn't like that. It was more of a friendship, banter and stuff, right? So none of this evolution of me acting like that ever came until later on. I did it to the real Rahul Rai, also behind the scenes. That's the other thing. And so I was like, whatever, on the Instagram story. I can't tag Gary anymore, so now I do Team Gary V. However, they can't let me know that they are untagging or he never blocks anyone. That's how I know. He never blocks me. I would always say, all you have to do is tell me to stop tagging you and stop hashtagging you, and I will. I said, this isn't on you. Never said a word. I look at all my content, he says. Then we had the Discord. So we're kind of progressively moving. I'm working energy here at the house. I'm not posting. I'm off and on TikTok. I'm creating different TikTok pages. I created lots of tweeting. I was doing a lot of tweeting, y'all. And then a lot of Instagram stories with some pictures, but not a whole lot. So I wasn't really out in the front. There was an episode where I was back from Virginia, back to Georgia, and everybody was posting roses. I have a rose tattoo and wore a rose necklace. So I knew something wasn't right. So like different things that were showing up that were a little unclear. Like I rotated Earth. And then the next day, Tim McGraw came out with a new song about Earth. The next day. Or Lady Gaga came out with a video after I pounded my head on a pillow in representation of being raped. And then she makes a video that comes out the next day. So things like that were happening. There's a whole horror side of my experience of being home alone. And then the mind manipulation game of what was occurring was a bunch of sex trafficking and murder and feeling it. So feeling my arm like lop off, but then knowing my arm was still there. And then having conversations with God, because there's an energy that happens when God enters the space that's different than when Gary enters the space. So you won't understand it. There's a different energy when Donald Trump is here than when Gary is here. Anywho, we're not talking about that. We're talking about the internet. Then we've got me posting like that and then documenting a lot. Funny stuff, fun. I mean, I'm like talented. I'm like entertaining. I'm informative. I'm telling you all these things in video form. Da-da-da-da-da. It's like, okay, keep moving. Then we get to where we're at now, which is, I got my first Instagram page got blocked for going on everybody's page and acting like an a-hole. Even Chris Martin, Coldplay. All they had to do was delete my comments and tell me not to do it, and I would have stopped. However, instead they completely blocked me. So now I have no opportunity in business. Not only can I not make contacts on the internet through LinkedIn, I can no longer now create content on Instagram to create a business. However, I changed my number and my email and I was able to recreate a new Instagram account. However, they didn't even ask me if I wanted to keep my content. They own it now. Mark Zuckerberg owns my Instagram pages because I think I have a couple Instagram pages too. He has some really good portraits in there. I like to utilize social media as a storage space for my wonderful photography and creativity. I don't like organizing here at the house. It's annoying. Anyway, then I start getting that up and running. I'm still contacting Gary all the time. And then what happened? There's a lot. I've started producing on this new account. Oh, I get this idea too. Watching this from Andrew Tate. He's got like 50 different accounts flooding the internet with information. And so I'm like, well, maybe I need multiple accounts. So then I got a kids account. I got a yoga account. I've got a name account. And then I got the Bright Vibes by Cass account. All utilizing different emails, because I have all kinds of different emails too. And I can never keep track of all. Not only that, when you delete your accounts, your content is still somewhere. Not to mention, if you log out of your accounts, sometimes the account disappears. My very first account, actually, this is really what happened. I got flagged somehow. I got flagged by a predator. I tried to report this page and they completely, it was a what's it called? A virus. Some young kid showing his wee-wee. I tried to attack it by reporting it, and because I was seeing all kinds of crazy stuff. I forgot that. I was sharing all this toxic information of like women in pregnancies and women doing this and men doing this and all this nasty stuff. And they were like watching me like a hawk. So that's how I knew that the government was up to no good with the Democratic Party, trying to shift your minds into believing certain things about certain things. So then I forgot about that. Then I was working with government. Oh, I did that too. Utilizing the internet. Making a bunch of different pictures with leadership across the globe, from Putin to Xi to not Zelensky to all of those of you who know. I don't want to go into it. I have a lot of energy on me right now. The big ones. They're all big, by the way. Just so you know, I remember where I read it, but it was a secret team. Even the smallest territory, you may think you're not significant, but it's significant when we are initiating a war with a small territory. So then I started getting into the politics on a different level, utilizing the internet, talking to Putin and Xi, battling, posting, getting angry, being authentic. However, my anger is nothing compared to what you are giving me, because I was giving you exactly what you were giving back. Oh, the last TikTok account, I logged out and I can't find it. And then I don't really pay attention to the name. So I don't know where it went. And so then I just started a new one. So I basically cut the string off. And I know it's rotating around there somewhere. I don't care. None of my content I'm embarrassed by. All the BLM conversation, the politics stuff, the things that you think is so horrible, ain't my problem. You guys are such a self-righteous nation. They all know it too. The whole entire world knows that the United States of America is the most self-righteous nation on this globe. They're all looking at you going, I cannot believe you are saying that stuff about the TRANS. How embarrassing you all are, millennial generation. However, the frequency does spew itself all over the globe as you think you know what you're talking about, and you don't know nothing. Oh, heaven forbid you upset them. Another lesson I had to learn by working with the internet, because these little brats grew up with the internet, a privilege and an honor. However, they violated it. They used it against us, and they're using it as a weapon against humanity for self-righteous, money-mongering bullcrap, to the point where they changed their ages, like Monavan, to the saying that she has a fake doctorate degree, Democratic Party, assisting her in her growth processes because she too works for the Taliban. Seeing the evolution, I hope, and how this all was uncovering and unfolding. I feel like it's getting clearer and clearer. Each one of you seeing through your own filter of me versus the societal assistance of what was necessary at this time, meaning we needed somebody who was going to go in and take care of things. Not only take care of things, but see things from a neutral space where we had our baby's best interests at heart. And most of you were like sheep, blinded by the machine. And don't get me started on the male seduction that somehow crept in my peripheral when Monavan showed up at VCon. And on Gary Vaynerchuk's page, the biggest slap in the face heard in history? You better believe that shit wasn't Will Smith and Chris Rock. That was when Gary Vaynerchuk showed up with Monavan on his Instagram page, and then I battled her for the first time there. I said, listen to me. Do not follow her. She is psychotic. She does not teach you this. She does not teach you that. She does not teach you this. She does not teach you that. She is up to no good. She is da 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 da. That was for the community. I didn't give a crap about Gary in that moment. How dare you do something like that to somebody? They constantly would put shit in front of my face to instigate me, to create toxic workspaces for me, and then get joy out of it. And every single time I battled it. And still stayed fit. Not 500 against 8.6 billion, but one person against 8.6 billion. Because nobody believed me. No one believed me. That's why I'm Jesus this lifetime. God is real. Because you still think Cassandra's sitting here alone, when the one communicating to you right now is God. As you violate her in every ounce of conversation, every ounce of interaction. Which wolf will you feed? Well, guess what? Most of you chose the wolf that was the bad wolf, the bad envelope, because you lost faith in God, because you believed more in Obama than you did in God, when Obama was the one that created COVID-19. Here, let me mind manipulate you again into believing that it wasn't Obama, because that's what he's doing on the stage to you now as you vote blue. The fact that they're operating on this level now tells you, I'm letting you know that the what is this thing we're doing? The election is already won. Red across all states is won. However, they are fueling the facade of energy of crisis for you to extend it out a little longer. Let's extend it out a little longer because we don't want every state to be red. Well, guess what? Every state wants to be red. But the blue ain't having it. So what do we live in, a democracy or a dictatorship? That is media fueled. Walker won for Georgia. That's a fact. 100% sure that nobody voted for that psycho. However, they have to stir up bullcrap to create more nonsense across this country, to fuel more propaganda, to initiate more riots, to create more pain in society, so they can figure out how they're going to come up from the bottom again. However, they already lost. Fueling demons instead of going to God. However, these fools go to church on Sunday and claim they worship. But we ain't talking about you, are we? We're talking about internet. Strategically placing the evolution of the art, the expansion of self-confidence against the social media psychopath named Motivan and her clan. Literally attempting to destroy women across America while she tries to destroy 14, 15 million individuals who support a good person named Gary Vaynerchuk. However, he didn't say anything. Showing up in all these nasty pictures. And then it shows up at a VCon and promotes her and then says, I don't want to talk about it. And then shows up at Fashion Week, which he never goes, at restaurants, at parties, instigative moves to intimidate me and to hurt me purposely, y'all. Gary Vaynerchuk. So yeah, you better believe I'm going to continue posting, because I don't give two craps about what you think, 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 what you think. Because I know one thing is my content is valuable, more valuable than all that shit you put together. One video I make is more valuable than all 60 videos that you've made in 60 months. One video I make. The jealousy and the envy. Do the fucking work yourself. Noting that for y'all. This has all been strategy, by the way. Posting particular videos, learning the craft, creating the puzzle pieces. If you look at my Instagram story, you notice that I didn't post a lot of content in my main feed, right? And then I kind of got a burst of energy in what I'm going to do over there. And so then instead of leaving my page completely blank, I started blasting all my content over there. And now my Instagram page looks bright and shiny. Not only is it bright and shiny, but it's really imaginative, creative, educational, team-oriented, inspiring, fun, interesting, beautiful, attractive. Strategies of knowing that people are utilizing the internet now as celebrities to make contact with them in a way that's tagging and a little what's it called where you like instigate a little? Instigative on purpose. Yeah, posting Ryan Reynolds when he's about to come out with a new movie while his wife is claimed to be pregnant and claiming that he's partying with me is pretty instigative, don't you think? But they say, well, you only have 0 follows. Okay, 500 follows. All right. Probably new laws will be created around that too. No one in history has ever done this. That's the thing. No one else was smart enough to think of doing. I love this way of doing my content, by the way. I feel like it should be patented for me only, with a contract or something. I use Snapchat to post and send Gary Vaynerchuk private videos. He's got a ton of secret videos I've sent him. And I said in there, I said, hey, if you don't want any more of these, just let me know. Never opened one of them. However, that's the secret that you guys don't know, is that when you're verified, you're like a little a spy in itself. You never get seen. So they go around and look at all your content, create content that looks like your content, and you say, wow, I'm so smart. However, they're making money off of you. Fair and reasonable, huh? When you're a hardworking maid who works 80 hours a week and's got 3 kids, however, they're sitting on their asses looking through your content as you're doubling up in that little bit of time you have to create content. They're stealing it and they're making millions off of you. Not to mention they are psychotic, toxic, and are a clearing of the space that creates anger inside people. Anyway, I guess that's enough for now. There's like a whole bunch more I left out, by the way. But that was a whole hour of talking. And I didn't even get to go into the TikTok page. There's not one social media influencer out there I want to follow except for The Real, Rye, Gary Vaynerchuk, Bradley, and a few others. I said it was 3 to 5%. Because there are people out there that are creating good quality content for you to succeed. But it's mostly men with a handful of women. I can think of 1, 2, 3, 4. I can think of 4 women right now out of all the content that I've seen. That's it. I'm like literally looking right now. I seriously do not see any. Here are 5 ways, your first sign to stay away from someone. I tried it. It doesn't work. It's a mind manipulation. And if 70,000 people are saying, here are 5 ways to know you have anxiety, then you are creating a problem that doesn't exist. You want to get that one. Even the psychologist that works for TikTok is a psychotic, creating problems for you. It's actually an evidential video form that I posted on the True Social of them young millennials telling you that you can't create solutions, you must create the problem, is what she says in the video. And that's the future of society unless we do something about it, which is why I spoke up and said the truth. Get past your terror barrier and start posting quality content with creativity, with compassion for yourself, with self-love. Evolve. I'm going to stop this video now and I'm going to attempt to try another video where I talk about how I evolutionized my content from a foundational piece of art, which is a video of something, into a whole library of really cool content that's never been done before in history. It's the only content in history that has been done like this. My doctor, Doug, told me, what did you say I was? An epitome or a... It's like one of a kind. And he said that to me in the dental business. Anomaly. I think it's an anomaly, he calls me. I was like, oh yeah, I'm an anomaly, that's for sure. And who do you think Gary would really choose? An anomaly? Or a stick, a walking stick with no personality, with no content, with no brain, and who's evil as you know what? I will continue to bash her until she goes away. And this ain't me being compassionate either. This is how you have to operate against the evil. You attack like they attack you, but you attack 10 times harder. She is evil. Her name is Mona Vand. Do not follow her. Do not listen to her. And learn your boundaries. Because she will take you out in a heartbeat to look cool. Just like that fur mink that she wears at a party where she wears my outfit.